a St. Johns County Public Library podcast. Zoe and I are here today to talk about, well, this time not an anime, surprise. We're actually going to talk about some of our favorite video games that have come out of Japan.
This is definitely not an excuse for anything else.
No,
ever.
I did not just spill coffee all over myself at all.
No. And we did not come here last minute.
And forget what we were recording on.
In the first place.
Okay, so, well, and to be honest, I was planning on doing a video game episode, so
No time like the present.
No time like the present. Zoe, other than school, which it sounds like has been very busy for you this year.
Got a lot of testing coming up. That's
Yep.
a lot of fun.
Yep. And a hurricane which came through and caused you to evacuate.
I had to move my fish. They weren't happy about it. I had to put them in Tupperware.
No fish is happy about the Tupperware.
No.
And I have the snotty cat that I had to take to the vet to find out why he's sneezing snot everywhere.
And I recently found out that this is kind of sad news, but one of our cats, Momo, unfortunately passed away a few months ago. But I don't know if it's the silver lining, but our other cat, Watson, ever since she unfortunately left us, he's been getting a lot more whiny and pushy and in your face. Like, it's gotten to a point where I can't leave my room without him coming up to me and just yelling at me for a solid, 10-15 minutes.
So is this a good thing then?
I mean, yeah, before he was he's a massive, he's very neurotic, I guess. He hides, he runs from people. He's a very nervous kitty. But as soon as he became the only cat in the house, he got his bravery back somehow, and now he knows how to be really annoying.
So other than all of these fun things that have been going on in our life, have you done anything nerdy lately?
No. I've been very distracted by a lot of things. I've been distracted by many, many things that are a bit more important. That I don't want them to be more important than anything I'm doing right now, but
but sometimes it is. Sometimes
it has to be, and I don't like that.
Of course, there's a new season of anime that's just started, so I'm slowly going through and checking out some of the new releases that are coming out. And there's more Spy Family.
There's more Spy Family,
which I haven't watched yet because I'm kind of holding on to that for a special night.
I watched I watched the 2 episodes that just came out in the past 2 weeks because every Saturday, and I'm hyped. I don't know why, but it seems like the animation quality got bumped up. For this new season.
Because it did so well, they might have put a little bit extra.
Put more backbone into it.
Yeah.
And also the outro and the intro, equally amazing.
Okay. Well, maybe I will check it out.
What was the name of that? I remember they chose a band. It was Bump Chicken or something like that. And apparently they were in a lot of older shows.
Okay.
They made the intros and outros for a lot of older shows. It was something along the names of Bump Off Chicken or something like that. But they made the outro and the intro, and I'm like, so good. It's such a good song. And it's so cute. And it's, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Well, I recently bought a trilogy of films from the 1960s, and it's the Daimajin trilogy. It's a Japanese series, and it was advertised as kind of like the Japanese version of the story of the Golem, because it's about a giant statue that comes to life.
Oh.
And it was listed as being kind of, I heard about it on a podcast or a website, I can't remember which, where they were talking about kaiju films, and apparently this was listed as kaiju adjacent. They weren't sure if it counted or not.
I mean, if it has a giant monster or something like that.
It's got a giant statue that comes to life.
It's a giant walking thing that's really big and could cause irreparable damage.
Which he does.
And he does.
So, yeah, that's been kind of I've been watching those in the evening and really enjoying them. I also got a set of 1960s films about yokai from Japan, so I'm like, ooh. But I haven't had a chance to dig into those yet.
Me and my mom, we are watching another show together.
Which one?
And she picked out this one. I should specify, she picked this show out herself. I had no part in it. I mean, I did give her a list of shows that I've seen, but take a guess on what show she picked.
Since I have no idea what's on Hulu. Did you pick something harem anime?
No, she picked Attack on Titan.
Really?
Which I did not expect, but she said she was interested in it because she saw me watching it in middle school and she was vaguely intrigued and vaguely terrified.
Yeah.
But like
yeah.
this is the same woman who, whenever she walks in on me and Dad watching our show together, she like cringes and recoils whenever a character gets hit too hard. So
yeah.
like, okay, so we watched the first 2 episodes, and she was a bit freaked out, but she was into it. I have to say, she knows nothing about the show, what it's about, and that is a really refreshing feeling as someone who watched it when it was first coming out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows what happens.
But she doesn't.
But she doesn't.
That's gonna be fun.
So I'm gonna get to see someone's like pure, like unedited reactions.
When I was watching that come out, it was being released 1 episode at a time, and that's when I had Hulu. So I was watching it on Hulu, and I tell you, every Saturday morning I was queuing up the Attack on Titan episode.
Mom and I are watching Attack on Titan. I wonder how she's gonna get through all this.
We're gonna have to get her review on that eventually.
We are.
So.
We should do an episode with her.
We should.
With Attack on Titan. We really should. Once you like finish the first season or so. So anyway, games. Pokemon.
So, name 2 of your absolute favorite games that came from Japan.
Pokemon. Very obvious. Ace Attorney.
Okay.
Pokemon Ace Attorney. 2 very different games, but I love them both.
Okay, mine are also 2 very different games. Animal Crossing and Monster Hunter. So, what makes Pokemon one of your favorite type of games?
It's probably the same answer.
And is there a particular Pokemon game that is your favorite overall?
I have 2 number 1 favorites for different reasons.
Okay.
So, in terms of like what I love about it, it's kind of what everyone loves about it is the Pokemon. Because they're great, and I love, just having little buddies around, and they're really amazing and awesome, and it's really fun. And the story can be a bit lackluster in some of the games, but some of the ones where they do actually put effort into it, they're really good.
Yes, yeah, I haven't played... Okay, I've played a little bit of a bunch of Pokemon games. I've never actually finished any of them. But the 2 that I thought had so far that I like the story of the best are Sun and Moon and Legends of Arceus.
Legends Arceus is probably one of the best like new age Pokemon games to come out. In my opinion.
that was that one. I really liked the going back in time and seeing like first discovering Pokemon and making friends with them.
We got isekai'd by God in that game. Pretty much, and he gave us a smartphone. Mm-hmm. But like the 2 Pokemon games that I love the most that have like I love Legends Arceus, but like. Is it Arceus or Arceus? I think
it's Arceus.
Okay.
I've always heard it that way.
One of them was my first Pokemon game, and it left a very strong impression on me. That was Pokemon Ultra Sun.
Okay, yes.
You can tell how young I am then, because that was my first real Pokemon game. But then again, I didn't get into the actual like Pokemon like games until way later than I wanted to.
Yeah, I think the original Sun and Moon are the Pokemon games I put the most time into. I love the location.
Yeah, the location is great. The story is really interesting with like the whole alternate dimension thing going on, and the Ultra Beasts and the aliens and stuff like that. And my second favorite is Pokemon Black.
Okay, I've never actually played that.
That game is probably, in terms of story, one of the best storied games, and it has some of the best characters. I love how they have like pixel sprites, but they're moving pixel sprites.
Okay.
And it looks so pretty. I mean, some of them it looks kind of funky because of the way that they're animated, but it looks so pretty. They have limited 3D graphics that are incredibly charming. They've got really good story, really good characters. I'm repeating myself, but it's one of my favorite games of all time. And the only thing I don't like about it too much is the starter choice isn't that great. But other than that, I love the game so much.
With the Pokemon games, so the gameplay itself with the turn-based and everything, you don't get bored of that after a while?
I do not, because I whenever I replay a game, I always incorporate some kind of challenge.
Okay.
Like maybe I'll do a Nuzlocke challenge where I can only use every first encounter in every area, and if a Pokemon faints, I can't use it again, and that kind of thing. Or I can do like a monotype challenge. I can only use Pokemon of a certain type. Or I can do what I call a fave lock, where I can only use my favorite Pokemon in the entire game.
So you like the fact that with the Pokemon games, you can make it more challenging by putting limitations
like
on
self-imposed rules and all that stuff.
Rules.
Or I could just replay them in like certain ways, or just like do certain things I didn't do the first time I played it, that kind of stuff.
Now, I have to admit, when I was getting into the Pokemon games, I had a terrible time remembering who was strong and weak against what, because once you get past 6 elements, I have no memory, and there's 8,
I think there's 18 types. types.
Yeah, there's a gazillion, way too many types. They kept adding more and more, and I finally gave up keeping track of it.
Well, they stopped adding them after, I think, Pokemon X and Y.
They started making ones that were like 2 types also.
Oh, yeah, dual type Pokemon.
Yeah. Anyway, but what I like about some of the newer games is they now, after you fight the Pokemon once, they literally will tell you, okay, this move is weak against it, this move is strong against it. And I'm like, thank you for the hand holding, so I don't have to look at a chart every time I'm doing a battle.
Yeah, some of the older fans actually complained about this. They're making the new games more babyified or whatever, because some of the older games were a bit unforgiving.
Yeah. Well, the Let's Go games I found a little bit simple.
Yeah, the Let's Go games, it was literally just Pokemon Go with extra steps.
Yeah. But
I found those boring.
I did like the little bit of extra hand-holding just because it was kind of annoying to constantly have to put down your game and pick up a chart and try and figure out what move to use.
Yeah, if you don't have like the type combinations and certain moves and stuff memorized.
I didn't grow up playing Pokemon. I didn't start learning with Pokemon Red how to defeat these Pokemon. So I completely understand that if you're a brand new person going into the game and you now have, you said, how many types of Pokemon?
I might be wrong with 18. That might be a bit too much, but I think there's
either way
a lot. There's a lot.
It's more than 10.
I'm gonna name all the ones that come up off the top of my head. There's the fire type, the grass type, the water type, the flying type, the rock type, the electric type, the ground type, the normal type, the ghost type, the fairy type, the steel type, the dragon type, psychic type, bug type, dark type, and I think that might be it.
Okay, I rest my case.
A lot of them. I might be forgetting one. Ice type and ice type and the ice type.
Once you get beyond the 4 elements, we're done. My brain turned off.
Oh, and fighting type and the fighting type. Forgot about the fighting type.
Oh, how can we forget about fighting type? One of my favorite Pokemon are fighting type.
Which one is your favorite Pokemon?
That's Hage. It's the one that looks like a karate boxer.
Hitmonlee?
Hitmonlee.
No, Hitmonlee. Hitmonchan is the one that kicks.
Yeah,
and Hitmontop is the top one.
Yeah, Hitmonlee, which I don't know if I've ever gotten him into a game, but I always just kind of liked his look.
Yeah, it's Hitmonchan is the boxer. Hitmonchan's the boxer.
Okay.
Hitmonchan. I have a favorite Pokemon of every type.
Yeah, Hitmonchan is the one I was thinking of.
My number one favorite Pokemon is probably because my first game was Ultra Sun, but the Alolan form of Grimer.
The rainbow Grimer?
The rainbow blob of sentient sludge. I don't know why.
That eats trash.
That eats trash.
I want a pet Grimer just so I can feed him my trash.
And like they added a thing in like the area where you can like pet your Pokemon and stuff. If you pet Grimer, like your hand gets all sludgy and stuff, and it's like,
oh, that's fun.
It's really fun. But I don't know why I like him so much. It's like a rule whenever I play a Sen game or a Kanto game, I have to catch a Grimer and name him Blobsy every time because he's just a little blobby boy. I don't know why I like him so much. He's just there.
Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go with one of my games now. Have you ever played any Monster Hunter?
I played a little bit of Monster Hunter World, but I didn't get past the tutorial. Because it was a little bit much for me to keep track of.
Monster Hunter World, I think, is one of the best versions of the game that has come out. Because Monster Hunter on the 3DS, I had a lot of fun with it, but that's because I had a friend I could play with, and she and I would get together and we'd play together in the same room. So the 3DS was nice because we could sit there, chit-chat, drink coffee, and fight monsters. And terrify her poor mom who would come in and hear us going, "Quick, go for the head! Go for the head!" I'll chop off his tail. Anyway, but Monster Hunter World, the graphics on it are amazing. I love the different environments, and the monsters interact with the environment. It's like they actually will. You can literally, some of the more docile monsters, you can literally follow them around and watch them like forage for food, sleep, take care of their kids, and stuff like that. What I love about Monster Hunter is that I am terrible at fighting games. Absolutely terrible at fighting games. And this is a game that is not easy. And I just decided I was going to play it. I still remember the first time I played Monster Hunter. It was kind of late at night on my 3DS, and I texted my friend, and I was like, "So, how do you set off bombs?" And she was like, "You're playing Monster Hunter, right?" I was like, "Yes." She said, "Well, you could." I said, "Oh, never mind. I figured out. You just hit them with your blade and make sure your health is full." I have to admit, half the time, that's still the way I set off bombs. There isn't a better way.
I haven't even gotten to like a monster fight when I tried to start it because
So
I tried playing it, but they give you, I don't know why, but I got overwhelmed with how much information was being given to me.
so
And also, I recognized Matt Mercer's voice as one of the characters, and I'm like, oh my, that's the guy. Because I hear him everywhere. He's in every English dub. And I just got really, and that, and also the whole I don't know why, but whenever they make you customize your character in the beginning, I get really, like, confused.
Well, and the thing with Monster Hunter is the whole idea of it is that you are your hunter, and your hunter is supposed to gain honor. They haven't, the ranks are more like honor ranks. And you go ahead and you earn your honor by killing these monsters. Well, you're not allowed to change your face because that means you're changing who you are and what you've achieved. So when Monster Hunter World came out, everybody made their characters and then they realized we can't change it.
Oh no.
So Monster Hunter had to do a patch where they gave everybody one free ability to change their faces. Like you could change your makeup, your hairstyle, hair color, stuff like that, but your basic like structure of your face.
So if you accidentally make a really ugly character, you can't.
Well, you're stuck with it. Embrace it because you're stuck.
Yeah, but like I think the point I got to was when after like the whole like ship cutscene and all that stuff, and we get into like the actual camp, and Matt Mercer starts showing you around. And then we go to, like, the area where you pick out your weapons. And then I got way overwhelmed because they give you, like, there's, like, a million choices and I don't know what's the right one.
So I went ahead, when I first started playing, I picked the longsword because I was like, giant katana. You can't go far wrong. Hate that weapon. I can't hit anything with it. There's a slight hesitation when you go to hit. So I was constantly missing everything. So what I did, I went for dual blades, which are very fast, do low damage, and have no defense. I am also terrible, have I mentioned this? Terrible at video games. So I picked the weapon that has no defense.
I mean, to be fair, I did end up picking the double blades because I'm like, I want to be fast.
Well, and that's it, is I was better at being fast. And if you trigger it just right, you can do an attack on Titan run down the back of a monster, and it is fabulous.
Yeah, I never got that far. I stopped right at the armory suit up thing because I just got really like overwhelmed. I need to put this down and take a minute to collect myself.
Well, and as I said, Monster Hunter, it's a game you go into expecting to die a lot.
It's like a Dark Souls game or something like that. Maybe
Dark Souls, I think, is maybe a little bit worse. I tried playing Elden Ring, and I really was not getting far in that fast at all. That was terrible.
Yeah, I think that's the universal experience with that one.
Yeah,
but yeah, I have it for the Xbox, and I was just I spent like way too much time trying to make the Palico look a lot like my cat Watson.
My Palico is always named Tiberius. Sometimes he has an eye patch, sometimes he doesn't. And the new version of Monster Hunter Rise, you now have a pet dog.
Oh.
And you can ride your dog. And I will say that is the one part of Monster Hunter Rise that is, I think, far superior to Monster Hunter World because I really love my dog and the fact that I can ride him everywhere. And Anyway, Monster Hunter has got a lot of fun aspects to it. One of the more fun things they got rid of from World that was in the older games, and I hope they bring it back eventually. When you used to die, the little wild palicos would come and pick you up, and they'd put you on a cart, and they'd literally roll you off the cart into your camp, and then that's where you would resurrect. And so they called it when you died, you got carted.
Oh my god.
And they would just like dump your body off, and then you'd sit up, and you'd be like, okay, let's try this again.
Let's just go back. Let's go that again. Let's do that again.
Yeah. So it's got weird senses of humor like that in it, which is part of why I like it.
Yeah, I probably should pick it up again at some point, but like I'm also just like not super motivated.
It really helped that I had a friend who had played it before and kind of could walk me through some of it.
Yeah, you're the only person I know who actually plays Monster Hunter, so I went into it totally blind. And it was I keep saying this, but it was kind of a lot. So I kind of like stopped playing it and then went to my easy PC Pokemon games.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad you don't have a PlayStation because I have it on the PS4.
Can you cross-platform play with those games? Or no, it has to
unfortunately not.
Dang, that's sad.
Yeah.
Well, like,
I can kind of understand why though. They're all very different companies and they all have their own
software
and, like,
and
securities and servers and so on. So crossplay is not necessarily, I think, the easiest thing to do. All right, and you said your other game was Ace Attorney.
Ace Attorney.
So what makes Ace Attorney so wonderful for you?
It's okay. It's engaging. It's bizarre, it's funny, and I've never gotten so attached to a cast of characters than I have with these ones.
So is this more
in a
of
game.
a storytelling game?
It's kind of like a visual. It's like a visual novel kind of build up.
Okay.
But there are like a lot of character animation, especially in the trials section. Because Ace Attorney, if you can't tell by the name of it, you're a lawyer and you're basically go around like solving murders, even though you're a lawyer and you shouldn't be investigating
So it's
crime
like the
scenes.
anime version of Matlock.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Okay, I just aged myself.
But the person
Andy
who,
Griffiths played a lawyer who solved murders.
But the person who made this game also made another game, I think, called like Ghost Trick or whatever it is.
I don't know that.
I think it's either Ghost Trick or like Ghost Law, but it's like you're a lawyer, but you're a lawyer for ghosts, I think. And you also go around and solve murders. But in this game, you're an attorney named Phoenix Wright, which is an amazing name.
Now this is the one where all the memes that with him yelling objection come from, right?
Yeah. Objection, hold it, take that kind of stuff. All the main like characters have their own version of it. All the main like lawyer characters have their own versions of those and their own voice lines and stuff, and it's one of the main like trademarks of the series. But I think the biggest draw is just how charming it is. Because it's a law game, but it's also really goofy. Like the legal system in this game is dubious at best. Like I think it's actually kind of made as a criticism of the Japanese legal system, where the whole thing is you're guilty until proven innocent.
So it's a little bit of a satire.
It's kind of a satire. Like all the characters, because when they localized it into English, they did this really amazing thing where they made all the character names puns. Like you'll have Franziska von Karma. Or you got Phoenix Wright, you have Apollo Justice, Clavier Gavin, there's Mia and Maya Fey and their spirit channelers and stuff like that. Or you'll have Penny Nichols or Jean Armstrong. He's a big buff guy, and they're basically or Acrobat. Wonder what he is.
Yeah.
But they got goofy names, all the characters have great personality. The sprite animations are very simple, but they actually work within the setting. The trials are... You ever heard the phrase kangaroo court?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really famous. This is one thing that's really famous for, but there's a trial where you cross-examine a parrot. And you also cross-examine a ghost. And you cross-examine an assassin who talks to you through a little, like, walkie-talkie. They put the walkie-talkie on the witness stand so you could cross-examine it. And the walkie-talkie, like... It shakes around and stuff whenever they're talking, and it's really weird.
Okay.
But yeah, they pull some crazy stuff during these trials. Like they're presenting evidence that didn't even exist until that trial, or they're like pulling in random witnesses, or they're summoning the ghosts of the murder victim right in the middle of the courtroom, and a lot of stuff. It's a ride. So I love it.
You're telling me it was worth buying on that Nintendo sale last month.
Yes, it was 100%.
Okay.
Though there is, I should kind of warn you that there's like a thing in all the games called third case syndrome, where the third case in each game is the worst.
Not quite as good.
No, they're long, they're complicated, you don't care about any of these characters, it's boring, it's a slog, but then immediately after it is one of the best cases you ever played in your life.
Okay.
It's
like the second book in a trilogy where you are building toward that climax, but you're still slogging your way there.
But here's the thing. There's a certain case. This is kind of spoiler, but like not really. And I think it's the first game called Turnabout Big Top, because all the cases, like they're like turnabout something, I don't know the whole names, but like this one's called Turnabout Big Top, and it's a murder you solve at a circus. And it is the most tedious murder investigation / trial cases I've ever played. But like it's so infamous for how bad it is that even the characters in the game reference how horrible that experience was. Like there's a scene in the second game where Phoenix is investigating and he meets like an actor, and he gets like flashbacks from this like PTSD flashbacks to this one clown who was really irritating during that case. And he like they literally like flash back to a scene that has the clown. He like I don't think I can stomach another circus after this. And it's the funniest thing because The dialogue is really hilarious, by the way, too.
So I actually saw that they have made an anime out of this. Have you watched any of it? Is it as funny as the series, or did it not translate well?
It didn't translate very well. Because one of the main charms about the series is that you can investigate almost everything. Mm-hmm. There's always, like, some kind of, like, witty, like a quip or something like that. Like, there's, like, a running joke where whenever you investigate, like, a step ladder, Phoenix, like, has to specify that it's a step ladder. And his partner or friend who's there is like, man, you shouldn't discriminate against ladders like that. Every ladder's a ladder. And I don't know what that means, but it's funny to me for some reason. I don't know what kind of joke it means, but it's there. Like, there's a lot of, like, random... If you can like, there's a thing where you can, like, you can present things to people. Mm-hmm. Like, if you get, like, I don't know, like, evidence, and you present a certain thing to a certain person, even though you don't need to, it sometimes creates a funny little dialogue. And it's just like the whole, like, how much you can explore and experiment and, like, the investigations is really fun. So you kind
of lose that in the anime and you just want kind of a boring
because you
story.
kind of miss a lot of the investigation stuff. And admittedly, the best thing in my opinion to come out of the Ace Attorney anime is the fact that whenever they make a big point, because they always point at things. Whenever they, like, go, like, objection or take that, it looks like they're airbending at the person. Like, there's, like, whoosh effects and everything, and it looks like they're just, like, using some kind of magic in there. And the bloopers for that show are hilarious. The dub bloopers.
Okay.
For that,
I bet they are.
They're great. They're so good. Eric Vale is stupidly funny. I don't know why. He perfectly embodies the energy of Phoenix Wright.
All right. So your verdict is play the game, don't watch the anime, but enjoy bloopers from the anime.
And if you can, avoid the live action movie they made one. They made one. It's you know when they make live action.
my point also, they made an American Monster Hunter movie. Do not watch. Do not. It is not Monster Hunter. Do not watch that movie.
But they made it's in Japanese, thank goodness. But you know when they make a live action anime movie and they try to translate the art style into real life, and yeah, mm-hmm. Those hairstyles, they don't look like real hair at all.
No. I have watched one live action movie based on an anime that I thought actually was pretty good. It's the Initial D live action movie, and that's because Initial D is a car racing movie and you don't have weird anime hairstyles.
It's a relatively normal anime. It's relatively normal compared to other stuff. But yeah, the main draw of Ace Attorney is its characters and its humor, because it is pretty funny. Like, for a person who passed law school, the main character is pretty oblivious. He forgets a lot of things. He makes a lot of really stupid decisions that somehow pay off. And it's so much fun. I love it.
Okay. Now, my last game that we're going to talk about today is Animal Crossing.
The one that my parents are obsessed with.
Yes, I know your dad in particular is very obsessed with this game.
He's trying to collect every single item in the game.
Because your mom had to buy her own copy because he kept stealing hers.
She bought her own Switch and her own copy so she could play it. And she bought the Animal Crossing themed one too, that had, like, the Dodo Airlines case and everything.
Yeah, I have that one too. I have the Monster Hunter Switch and the Animal Crossing one. So
yeah, she hasn't played it in a while actually, but she every time we, like, talk about, like, games and stuff, she always gets all mournful. She gets all mournful and, like, talks about how my villagers probably miss me and I need to go check up on them. I got so many cockroaches in my house probably I need to step on, and
the only game where killing cockroaches is kind of fun because you get the little ghosts that go up. You get a little cockroach ghost.
There's a little splat sound and stuff like that.
Little splat sound, there's a little cockroach ghost. But, so Animal Crossing is one of those games that I started playing on the 3DS with New Leaf.
I think it's New Leaf.
Yeah, it was New Leaf. And that one, you actually have a town or a village that you're the mayor of, and you go ahead and you run your town and village. That one, I had a few problems with. I couldn't figure out fishing very well. My plants kept dying because you literally had to water them every day or they died.
That sounds tedious.
And I also tended to play after work and everything closed at 8 o'clock at night. And I was playing at night, so I could never get to the store. So I had to actually do a minor bit of time traveling and reset the time on my Switch so the store would actually be open when I was playing.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy that game, but I have to admit I did not put as many hours into it because I had a few playing issues with it. It did, however, have a really good multiplayer aspect to it because there was actually a little island you could go to with your friend, and there were mini games you could play with them. So
Yeah, I don't think New Horizons has that.
no, it doesn't, and that's where I think New Horizons kind of fell down a bit. Was definitely in the multiplayer.
That, and I feel like the villagers didn't have as much personality in these games.
I think so. I have noticed from looking back over time, I think the villagers get nicer and nicer as the games get newer.
Okay, so here's the thing. My dad brought a GameCube home from the library, and we had Animal Crossing, the first one. The villagers
are mean.
They're so mean to you. They laugh at you for being poor.
Yeah, they're terrible. There's like whole like memes and stuff on the internet. They are terrible to you.
And there's like and there's an option where I think his name is what's it, Bob or something like that. One of the cat characters in the beginning where you're on the train. And he like talks to you and says, "Hey, can I sit here?" And if you say no, he's like, "Wow, I'm glad there are still plenty of rude people in this world." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Wait, no, go back."
Yeah. I do kind of miss that a little bit because right now it's like every villager you meet, they're like complimenting your clothing. They're saying how wonderful the island is looking.
They suck up to you a little bit.
They do a little bit.
And their dialogue, I feel like they all have set dialogue. They always say like that. They repeat themselves a lot.
Which that's been true, I think, in every Animal Crossing game I've played.
Yeah, but if I want them to repeat themselves, I want them to say something interesting every time.
Yeah,
so I just feel like they're a bit boring in the newer games. But I played a bit of it, and I have never wanted to punt a cartoon Tanuki so much. Tom Nook laughs at you. He laughs in your face when you show you don't have it, and then he like makes you an indentured servant until you get enough money to pay off your house.
Well,
like,
that's mostly so in Wide World, which I think was the one for
Wild World. It's Wild World.
Wild World. Sorry, I got that one for the DS, and I just started playing it a couple weeks ago. In that one, you show up, and he's like, "So you don't have a job? Here, work part-time at my store to pay off your debt." And I'm like, "You are downright nice on that island compared to in this game."
Yeah, and also there's like, whenever you talk to the new villagers and stuff, they like call you stupid for moving somewhere without buying a house, and it was so surreal because my first Animal Crossing game was New Horizons, and they're like really, really stupidly nice to you the entire time.
Yeah.
And then you go to this game, and they're like, everyone hates you immediately. Like initially, they're so rude.
Yeah. Well, and New Horizons, I like the whole aspect of gathering everything, collecting everything. I like games that when I want to have a quiet game after work, Animal Crossing New Horizons is my type of game. Where I've got little daily quests I can do and complete. I can talk to a few people. I can work on I can like do some little decorating. I did buy the extension where you can fly off and go decorate people's vacation homes. So occasionally I'll just go and decorate a house that night. That will be my game playing. But I finally decorate enough houses. I've unlocked all the moss recipes. So I have so many DIY recipes I haven't found yet.
Moss recipes?
Yeah, you can collect glowing moss on the extension on the island there, and you go ahead and you can make like ancient ruins out of the moss and stuff.
I didn't know about that. I haven't played Animal Crossing in a long time.
Well, the last major update they did. This was like a separate extension you could buy to go with the game. It's kind of like the newer version of Happy Home Designer, which was the extension for New Leaf.
Oh, okay.
And if you're in the mood just to decorate a home and not have to, have it be your home.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not really good when it comes to decorating like homes and games. My house in Animal Crossing is literally just like every wall is filled with tanks of spotted garden eels and stuff. I bought a second room just so I could put a bunch more eels in there. I just have like a record player and a bed and a bunch of eels in my room, and they're all.
I decorated all of my first floor rooms. I got the Hello Kitty amiibo cards. So I have all the Hello Kitty furniture, so I decorated all the first floor rooms that way. And then upstairs room I have Halloween themed right now. My downstairs room is Thanksgiving themed.
Yeah, my room at my house is just full of eel tanks and a horseshoe crab and a snapping turtle that I set up so it looks like they're having dinner. And
Hey,
that's it. That's everything I did in my house.
that's the best thing about Animal Crossing, though. You can make your house look like whatever you want.
And I put 2 big Godzilla statues next to on either side of my house too.
Oh, that's a cool idea. I should
Two
look
big two red ones.
I don't know if
ones.
I have room for 2 of them.
They
but
breathe fire when you touch them. It's so cool.
I don't have red Godzillas. I got black ones, I think, for my island.
I got the red ones.
And their eyes just flash when you touch them.
And they breathe fire. They do breathe fire.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Anyway, but yeah, there's lots of little things you can find like that, like, clicking on the statue makes it breathe fire.
Oh,
but,
this is kind of funny, but my mom, when she was still playing it for a bit, she's kind of slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
But like when she played it,
after you put 400 hours into a game.
yeah. But there's a villager that she's been trying to kick off her island, Sherry, because Sherry was mean to one of the other villagers once. And she's been trying to boot her off the island ever since. For some reason, it's never worked. She never got her
I have a
off.
villager who keeps wanting to give me a nickname, and I am so ready for that villager to leave because it's like, I don't want a nickname. Go away.
My dad made one of my villagers, Hornsby. He made him give me a nickname because Hornsby, he was playing on my account for a little bit because it was when I first got when I was starting it still.
Mm-hmm.
He made Hornsby call me guacamole. In all lowercase. And I can't change it. So he just calls me guacamole every time I see him. But yeah, my mom's been trying to boot Sherry, the red dog, off our island for so long.
Old version of Animal Crossing, your villagers would move in and they'd build old version, New Leaf. Your villagers would move in and they'd build a house wherever they wanted. You couldn't choose where their house would be, which absolutely drove my friend nuts. Because the villager would build a house right in the middle of her pathway. And apparently there used to be like a little mallet that you could hit people with. And so my friend would get this little mallet, and every time she'd see the villager that made her angry, just start hitting it, hoping it would eventually move.
You can do that with like the nets and stuff too.
Yeah.
But listen, it's kind of funny to see to just walk into a living room and see your Gen Xer mom repeatedly chasing down a red dog in a video game and smacking her with a net over and over again, and just because someone told her that's how you get them to move out, and she's
I don't know if that works in New Horizons.
Yeah, but like someone told her that's how you get them to leave because you got to make them hate you or something like that.
I just ignore them.
I don't think that's true, but I
just don't talk.
But she was bloodthirsty. She would not let Sherry walk one step without smacking her 5 times with the butterfly net.
Wow.
I don't even think she remembers that, because I think I brought it up one time and she said she doesn't remember that. But she would do that. I remember. It's the funniest thing in the world.
Well, right now, my Animal Crossing island, I need to go and decorate for Halloween. I haven't played for a bit. I've been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is not a Japanese game, so we're not going to talk about it. But it's Animal Crossing-like, but with Disney characters.
So it's very pandering to the major Disney fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, just a little bit. So anyway, Animal Crossing is probably the game I've put the most time into. I think, Monster Hunter World, I think I'm around 500 hours. Animal Crossing, I'm in the 400s somewhere. And so those are my 2 big ones.
I think I've put the most hours into Pokemon Sword, because that's the game where I decided to try and shiny hunt and get an entire team of shiny Pokemon. And that took me the entire summer. Time I started that, but I worked and I got 2 extra shinies on accident during it. So there's that. And they're all level 100, and I specifically picked out Pokemon that had really ugly shinies. Like they looked terrible. Except for one shiny Cramorant. He's a blue bird and his shiny is orange. So he looks like a seagull that got dipped in curry sauce. And his name's Kevin, and I love him so much. He's my favorite.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up our discussion on video games there. We'll have to have another one sometime so we can talk about other things.
Yes, we should.
Have you ever played Zelda?
No.
Yeah. Same side here. I have not gotten into the Zelda thing yet.
One of my friends got mad at me for this, but I kind of traded my copy of Breath of the Wild for Pokemon Sword.
Well, Breath of the Wild, I died 3 times in 30 minutes, so
The open world games are great, but I like to have like direction, and I'm not good at that.
My problem with Elden Ring, they drop you in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, so what's my goal? Where am I going? What's going on?
Legends Arceus at least gave you like directions. It's
a goal.
It's open world, but they give you directions.
It's like, go find this. I was like, great. I know why I'm out here in the wilderness.
We should wrap up.
We're wrapping up. Well, thank you, Zoe, for joining me and talking about video games. And once again, we are definitely going to have another conversation later about some other games. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe extend our repertoire and try and put some hours into something
Yeah, there are
else.
plenty of other games that I've played, but they're not Japanese. So I don't know if they fit here or not.
Have you played anything Mario?
No.
I've
played
a Mario
Smash
game.
Bros. I've played Mario Party, but they're all on friends' consoles. I own Smash Bros, but all the other Mario games that I've played are on my... I don't own them. I do have Yoshi's Island, though. Yoshi's New Island.
I have a Yoshi game, the one with where everything is made out of like craft materials.
Oh, the Yoshi's Woolly World? I think.
Well, that one I have on my DS. This is Yoshi's Crafted World or something?
Something like that. I have the new... I have the Yoshi's Island remake.
I love Yoshi's Woolly World. I'm terrible at it, but I love it. Anyway, moving on. If any of you listening have any thoughts or favorite video games, go ahead and you can contact us by emailing me with the email address that's in our show notes. And thank you so much for joining Zoe and I as we reminisced about our favorite video games to have come out of Japan. They have definitely supplied a lot of them over the years.
Yeah, there's almost too much, actually.
There is too much to play, quite honestly. But hey, Animal Crossing, man.
Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. I still haven't done that yet.
Yokai Watch.
Sorry,
I have all the Yokai Watch games.
I've been thinking about playing those, but I don't know.
Well, let's just say at one point you have to deal with an ogre that's in the girls' washroom.
Ooh, no.
In the middle of the night. So that was fun. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope you all enjoyed listening to us. And we'll definitely be back next month. And this time we'll talk about an anime.
We will talk about an anime, I promise.
Yes. All right.
We will not forget this time.
Bye.
Bye.